Hey guys, as you know, social media is one of those entities that move faster than the speed of sound, and everything is always changing. Since I've started this podcast, I've always had a special episode once a year so I can go over the state of social media with you guys. However, since everything is changing so quickly now, I don't want you guys to skip a beat. I want you to keep you all informed 100% with what's going on with social media. So this year I am changing up a little bit, and I'm going to give it to you twice a year as opposed to just once a year. So with that, this episode is all about the state of social media.
Hello, and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, everyone. I hope you guys are having a rockin' week thus far. Today, I have the privilege once again to give you a special show. Like I said, I was kicking it up a notch in 2022. And we're going to be doing something different, like as I said in the pre-intro, on social media. Social media is a fast-moving entity. It's one of those things that, have so many different platforms and so many different moving parts. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the best advice possible when you need it. Not like 2 months from now, or not like, a year from now, but right now. So with that, I have my good friend, Laura Shipman, to help me because she is the social media guru. So we're going to be putting out this state of the social media event or show twice a year. Excuse me. I guess I haven't had my coffee this morning, Laura. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to bring on the great Laura Shipman with this topic of the state of social media.
Thank you, Frank. I always love being here, and I always love our conversations. We always have so many great conversations about social media, digital marketing, how the two of us can work together to make our clients' dreams come true, all that good stuff. So thank you for having me back. And I'm still sipping on my coffee too. So
there you go. Awesome. So, last year towards the end of the year, I think we had a state of the social media. And a lot has changed since then. I'm just going to let you just have the floor because you are the social media queen. As a matter of fact, when we first met, I used to also do social media. Mm-hmm. And after seeing how you do it, I just like, whoa, I can't do this. I'm just going to just step back and stay in my lane and stick with the lead generation stuff. So I just wanted to give you the little testimonial there.
Thank you. That's so sweet of you.
So I am going to give you the floor. You let us know, what is the state of social media today? We're in the month of June. Mm-hmm. So, where are we going between now and the end of the year?
That's such a great question because it does change pretty quickly, social media. And we talked about a lot of things last time we got together. And I kind of jotted down like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 8 different trends that I'm starting to see in social media. And it might have your listeners just change how they attack it, especially if they're trying to attack it by themselves. Because like you said, so many things are changing and it's getting more tech rich. I don't know if that's even like a good concept to say there, but where technology is evolving, and so is social media. And I think the two of them kind of go hand in hand. And when I mean things are getting more tech rich, it's happening and you probably don't even realize it, especially if you're using platforms like Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram. And TikTok, we talked about last time. You were surprised that I brought that one in because that one is just growing like wildfire. And it's not going away. And I think businesses are going to need to put some sort of a TikTok strategy together, but we'll get to that later on. But the
just since you're on TikTok, I want to touch on this. So my firm, as you know, we're all about lead gen and ads and stuff like that. So we're actually diving into the ad platform of TikTok.
Excellent.
We've been doing some tests and stuff, and some things are coming along pretty well. So just wanted to add that.
I'm glad that you did, because that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. And maybe before I get into the techie part of how social media is shifting, let's talk about ads, since you brought that up. Now more than ever, you're seeing more of a push for social media ads, just because that's one of the best ways to get in front of your target audience, because you can go ahead and target exactly who you want to see. And the ads that are tending to get the most bang for the buck are the smaller social media platforms. When you use ads on the smaller social media platforms, TikTok's kind of considered still a smaller platform. And so you're very smart to have your team go into advertising on a platform like that, because it'll just be seen by more people. And what I'm noticing now on Facebook, which I just think is brilliant in a way. Do you ever watch YouTube channels, like videos?
All the time.
Okay, me too. Now, if you don't have a paid account with YouTube, you have to watch like a 5-second spot, ad spot before your video plays. And sometimes maybe you have to watch 2 ads before your video will play. Well, Facebook is now doing this thing where if you are watching, I'm going to use Tastemade, for example. Do you know what Tastemade is on Facebook?
No idea. No.
Okay. So what it is, it's this account, and they do like really fast recipes. And so people like me who love to cook and, do all of these lifestyle things will watch these Tastemade videos. And then you're like halfway through the video, and all of a sudden it switches over to a Facebook paid advertising video. And so that's a great way to get in front of your audience, because you're watching an account that gets high engagement because they're doing video tutorials in a way, but in a fun way, or they're doing comparisons like before and afters, or I've also seen them on these too, where they'll do epic fail videos. So you're watching, like a series of snippets of people falling down or, stumbling and doing all of those things, kind of like America's Funniest Home Video type stuff. But in the middle of that, you'll get this Facebook ad. And so that's how businesses now are really leveraging the advertising through these video platforms. So it's smart.
Awesome.
It's smart that you're adding that to TikTok. And what TikTok just released pretty recently is the ability to schedule videos. Now, if you do social media, like I do social media, where I'm like posting for a ton of different clients, you depend on these scheduling tools, because it's virtually impossible for you to be on everybody's account when you need to be on their account to get these posts to go out. Well, Hootsuite and TikTok just joined forces, and they're allowing for scheduled videos, which is so cool.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure, because I didn't dive into it yet, if it's a paid feature or with Hootsuite or not. So I need to do a little bit more research, but it literally is pretty new. Like I just got notification on Hootsuite like this week or last week about it. So,
right.
So that's kind of exciting.
Now you said something earlier that kind of caught my attention. You said that TikTok was relatively small. What's relatively small? What do you mean? Small in terms of audiences, or what do you mean?
I think small in terms of, because I don't know the numbers off the top of my head of how many users they have, but so you're talking about audience or users, for example. You're also talking about small in age as well. Like it's a fairly new platform. It's not one of the originals, but it's growing in popularity. And so at first I would talk to people just in my everyday life and I would say crazy things like, oh, I just learned this on TikTok. And they're like, you're on TikTok? Why are you there? And they didn't quite understand it. Then I started finding these videos that are educational or interesting, or maybe it'll show you a vacation spot that you might want to visit. It'll show you lifestyle hacks, exercise. I actually get a lot of workouts on TikTok that I love, because it'll give me, if I want to work on abs, for example, it'll give me 30 seconds of exercises I can use. And then I'll share those with my friends and family. And they're not TikTok users yet because they've got this mindset that it's only for like Gen Z or, what's the next generation coming after Gen Z? Gen Alpha or something? I don't remember.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So like it has this mentality of a younger generation using the app. And that's why I call it smaller, because you don't see like the 45s and older for the most part talking about TikTok like the younger generations do, but they're catching on. 45 and over TikTok is emerging, and you'll see a lot of content creators on TikTok who are 40. I've even seen like 60, 65-year-olds on TikTok doing all sorts of stuff, was just amazing to me. I love it.
Well, they use it differently.
They use it differently, but they use it for quality content.
Mm-hmm.
And the older generation loves that. And these older creators are getting deals. They're getting deals with different brand deals and stuff like that to market. There's this one woman, her name's Babs. I just love her because she reminds me of my mother. And she teaches you like how to do laundry, how to cook a family meal, how to do all these things. All of a sudden, I've been watching her for like 6 months, maybe a couple of months ago, she's got brand deals. I'm like, you go, girl. What a little rock star you are. So that's why I mean it's small, because everybody has a Facebook account, whether they use Facebook or not. It's just part of the staple in your social media portfolio. But anyway, so that's what I mean by small, and you'll get more eyeballs on your content when you use small apps like that. Did I answer your question? Did that make sense?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I have a question for you, and I don't know if this is going to throw you off. I know you have a set of topics that you want to talk about for the state of social media, but I do have a question, and I think other people are going to have this question as well. What is your whole take on this whole Facebook/Meta, like this whole, it hasn't really taken off, I don't think, because people still say Facebook. No one says Meta. I mean, I know it's Meta because I'm getting the emails and say, hey, your Meta business page has gotten X amount of views, yada, yada. Thanks to Laura Shipman, by the way. But,
Yay.
But what's your take on that whole thing? Are they going to drop that? Because I haven't even seen anything.
So that's an interesting question. Facebook will never change its name. It will be Facebook. So if you look at Meta's the parent company, the umbrella, right? Over Facebook, Instagram, and whatever else. And then the Meta universe they're going to create. So they are in a creation mode where they're creating a Meta universe. And they're going to be using more AR, augmented reality, more VR, virtual reality, more AI, artificial intelligence, and create a different user experience. Right. So you'll see things that will start to morph within Facebook, but it's under the parent of Meta. So
got it. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's why I'm glad I asked the question.
There you go. Yeah, I'm glad I could answer.
Well, I had no doubt you could. All right, back to the regularly scheduled programming.
Okay, so we talked actually, and this is really good. Actually, this is a really great segue. I'm sorry, my dogs are getting anxious. There's thunder here. So that was really a good segue because I was going to talk about VR and AR, virtual reality and augmented reality in social media. And some of you may not have picked up that you're actually watching it or using it right now. And one of those things is the filters that we use on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok or on Snapchat. They can put you in an augmented reality where maybe you're in outer space, and actually you can do it on Zoom. You can put a fake background behind you. So those sort of things are starting to morph and move in to social media. And you're going to see more of that. You're going to see more of these like animated GIFs and stuff that kind of interact with your account. And what's really cool is when you are in a setting, like let's say you're on a street, let's say you're in New York City and you hold your phone up and you're going to take a screenshot or something you're going to post on social media, you might end up seeing like an ad or like a bottle of Coke float across your screen before you go ahead and post that. Or you may be prompted to add that into your photo because right down the street, there's a restaurant that serves it, things like that. So you're going to see more of those types of interactive virtual reality, augmented reality things going on within social media. So that's how things are getting a little bit more techie with social media. And there's going to be more of a dependence on artificial intelligence where you're working with chatbots to try and help you with your customer service issues. If you have a business, I mean, Facebook has that already, but you can see it leveling up and getting smarter and being able to interact with people who message your page or things like that. So
awesome.
So that's how things are turning techie on social. So you do want somebody who understands the tech part of that, who can help your brand and your business stay in the best light possible, on social media so that you're up with the times and things like that.
Hey guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this topic this week. I hope you guys, and more importantly, I hope you guys are implementing everything that we talk about each and every week because it's very important for your business. Also, don't forget to subscribe to whatever app you listen to on this because that's where you won't miss any updates on any episodes that we have. Also want to remind you, if you want to ensure that your digital marketing presence is on point, if you want to make sure that there are no errors happening when someone actually is looking for your business, that way people can find you exactly when they need you, go to my website, lbmsllc.com. Go to on the home page and where it says Online Presence Report. Click on that. You will have your own personalized online presence report. It's free of charge. It's going to tell you exactly how you're appearing online. This is a gold mine that I'm giving you for free. And I want all of my listeners to take advantage of that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring you right back to the show.
So those are that's an up and coming thing. The other thing that is we're seeing more and more of, and it's been this way for the last 7 years, I would say, slowly but surely, video is taking over the static posts.
Yeah.
And I know there's like a lot of camera shy people out there, but if you are the face of your business, you need to be there. You need to do little videos, little vignettes. Actually, I have customers now asking me to come and spend a day with them, just filming 90-second videos for them that they can use on their social media platform. And so we'll just do a day together. And the rule is you can't go over 90 seconds or else you're going to lose your audience, right? So you got to pack them with a punch and drop them value. Like, just don't get in front of the camera just to be in front of the camera. Have a plan, know what you're delivering and know that the content that you're delivering is actually going to benefit your audience almost immediately if possible.
So let's talk about that for a second. Yeah. So I always advise my clients when we're doing, because we do a lot of lead gen on YouTube.
Yes.
My advice to them is 3 minutes or less. You're saying 90 seconds. What's does it? Am I losing people at 3 minutes? Why 90 seconds is the sweet spot?
So I'm glad you brought that up because I think YouTube is a differentiator. I think on YouTube, you're doing 3-minute ad spots there on YouTube. Mm-hmm. YouTube's a little bit different because it acts as a TV, right? And so people are expecting that on YouTube. I think you're fine there. But when I say 90 seconds, I'm talking about like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, where people aren't really hanging out on a post for too long before they go to the next one.
Gotcha.
You'll lose people if you go over 90 seconds on those platforms, but on YouTube, I think it's expected. I think people are a little bit more tolerant because they're in it for the long haul on YouTube because they're settling down to watch a video that's going to probably be anywhere from, I'd say, 9 minutes to just under 30 minutes in length. And so it just makes sense. Yeah. So I don't think you're losing those people at all, but good question. I like that. Mm-hmm. That's good. Okay. So So we're talking, so the short form videos are really important in trying to fit that into your social media content plan somehow. And the most effective ones are the ones where you're actually talking to your audience yourself. They don't want to hear from, or somebody who is the face of your business. If you as the owner really aren't the face of your business, but somebody else is and can be your spokesperson, have that person make those videos for you.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So yeah, don't ignore video. There are ways to incorporate video. I wouldn't rely on it though. And some of those are animated posts where you have like words and images fly in, or you have like some stock video with some written content overlay coming in. That's a good way to introduce video. I wouldn't depend on that version. So you really want somebody to be front and center for, just think about the videos that you watch on social media too. We all watch them. Which ones are the ones that engage you? Try and recreate that for your business, because that's probably what your audience wants to do.
100%.
Makes sense. Okay. Something else that's really going to start to grow on social media is social commerce. And I don't know that a lot of people talk about this. I mean, we talk about trying to generate leads and stuff like that, which is great. And that's what social media is for, is to generate these leads. But now social media is making it possible for you to do social commerce. And so you'll see that on shoppable posts with Instagram. Especially with some of these fashion bloggers or lifestyle bloggers and things like that, they're using certain products and they're able to put a tag over it that drives them to a website where they can make the purchase.
That's funny. Somebody asked me about that, and I say, yeah, we don't, because we don't mess with e-commerce. We mess with mostly, local businesses, services businesses. Yeah.
Right. So it is possible. And then, Instagram is working on doing Instagram storefronts. So you might see something like that. A lot of people who have a product-based business already have Shopify accounts. So they're making it easier for these people to connect their marketplace with their social media platform. Mm-hmm. So you'll see a lot more of that. And then, which brings me to my next little point, is influencer marketing is really big. So you get these people who can talk about your product or your service, endorse it, and then they can drive those people to the shoppable areas for your business. So for example, the best way to use influencer marketing is to do your research, find somebody in your local area who is already talking about things, but maybe you want a micro influencer, not a macro influencer where somebody has hundreds and thousands of or millions of followers, because your message or your product or service is going to get lost. If you go with a micro influencer, someone maybe who has I'd say 7,000 to 15,000 followers in a targeted area, and they can talk about your product or service or your business and generate leads for you. That's where you want to go. Somebody who's going to endorse your business for you.
Gotcha.
So that's becoming more and more popular. And
how does someone get an influencer though? Because I hear that a lot, but it's so difficult to get in front of them.
It is hard to do that. There are some people who, how do you call it? They manage influencers, right? So you could go and they're agents for influencers and figure that out. I think there's some websites, I just don't know them off the top of my head, where you can go. I get approached all the time for people wanting me to become somebody that they could use as an influencer. I just personally don't have interest in doing that, but a lot of people do. Or you can just, do grassroots stuff and go to Instagram's a great place to figure that out, because you can look up all sorts of content creators in your local city or town and see who's really posting a lot of stuff in your local area and reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed you are on Instagram in my area. How do you feel about doing some influencer marketing for me? And then you could kind of work out a deal with them. And that sometimes they'll charge you, per post. Sometimes they'll make you commit to, X amount of posts a month that they'll do for you, or things like that. So there's all sorts of ways to create that contract. And if you do, you should really create a contract with these people. So there's no misunderstandings of what they're supposed to be talking about, for how long, how many times they show your product, how many times they mention your service. If they write a blog to go along with whatever content that they're putting out there, are there hot links to your, web page, all of these things. I mean, it's quite involved if you want to do it, but it's kind of the way of the future.
Gotcha. Yep.
So
makes sense.
And you're buying a targeted audience. That's the whole point of it, is you've got these people who already have the audience for you. That's why you pay them to do that. So you don't have to do the legwork. Yeah. So we talked about customer service and using artificial intelligence as for chatbots and things like that. The next thing that I just find fascinating that I'm seeing more and more of is social audio. And when you think about it, you're like, what the heck is social audio?
You mean like Clubhouse?
Like Clubhouse, yeah. And Facebook has, I think, like these audio chat rooms that you can go to. And I'm watching Gen Z because my daughter's Gen Z. And I was amazed by this. She is no longer sending text messages over her phone. They're actually doing audio clips. And actually, you use that too, because I've gotten audio clips from you as well. And it surprised the heck out of me. And so more and more people are using that. And so I think the attraction to this is you don't have to be camera ready. And if you're having a thought, or if you want to spread something, or something just happened, you don't want to get in front of the camera, you can use this audio clip and, give it legs. So I find that's going to be more and more popular.
So I do it for two things. Like, number one, if I'm driving and I don't want to lose a thought, I do it. So I think one of the times I left you a voice text was like that. I was driving or just about to walk into a meeting. I'm like, it's a lot faster for me to just tell you than for me to text it, because I'm not the fastest typer in the world. And another thing I use it for is because, as you know, I have 2 books out there, and that's what I use to dictate a lot of my book. And then I just sent the raw copy to my editor, and she prettied it up, and then off you go.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then what's also kind of in that same vein, and I see this a lot on TikTok, is they'll take like video, but then they'll do a voiceover. And so they'll do video of what they see, or maybe they're reviewing a product, and it's a way for them to still connect with their audience, even though their face isn't involved. So they just, do this voiceover over whatever scene that they're trying to explain to their audience. And it works really well. So it's a great way to connect your personality to your audience. So so I just find that interesting. And podcasting is kind of similar too, right? I mean, we're in people's heads right now. And I just find that amazing that we can send our messages that way. So I think we'll see more of that, even though it sounds like it's, how do you say it? Like an antiquated way to be social, but I don't think so. I think it's honestly one of the ways of the future, is being able to do everything voice activated, especially those of us who have those little devices in our house that begin with the letter A. I don't want to say the word Alexa. I don't want her to go crazy, because that happens to me all the time. I depend on that all the time, from shopping lists to reminders to alarms, and it's all voice activated. It's just a lot easier. So I see we'll probably do more of that in the future too. And the last little trend that I see that's not going away, and there was a big push for this at the beginning, I'd say like 4 years ago, maybe. Yeah, about 4 years ago, when Facebook made the big change to take business posts out of the regular feed. And they made a big push to tell businesses to create a Facebook group. And these Facebook groups are now seen as communities, and building communities around your social media platform. It took a couple years for people to get into it, but now you'll see groups all over Facebook, And I'm surprised at how much time I spend in groups, and you can find them for any interest whatsoever that you have. These communities are amazing and they become supportive. And I just love what I'm seeing there. And I love this raw, authentic content that ends up in these communities and people helping each other out and starting conversations. And I have this one friend, she's the technically smart blonde is her name. I just love her. She is a master user of these groups, and she'll go in there because she's a tech person. She wants to learn everything she can about tech. And every once in a while she'll get tripped up, and we happen to be in some of the same groups together, and I'll watch her, and she learns all of her stuff within these Facebook groups. And all she does is these a little note that says, hey, I'm having trouble with XYZ. How do you guys do this? And she's extremely humble and vulnerable about what she doesn't know. And she makes no excuses for that. But this is teaching her how to be a better tech master, for lack of a better term. So I think the more we're going to see more communities around social media accounts.
So I noticed, but here's the funny thing about that. Facebook really has done an exceptional job with that. LinkedIn, not so much. I don't see groups in Instagram. I don't know if there are any other platforms that does it, but the group community building thing, I think, in my opinion, is what has kept Facebook alive, because they've had some tough times.
Yes, it's been rough for that. And it's funny you bring up LinkedIn, because that's one of the biggest disappointments I've had with LinkedIn, because you look at LinkedIn as like this professional network, and you would think there would be more of that organic networking, I guess, within that app. And for whatever reason, it just never really took off. And I don't know why that is.
I can tell you exactly why. Because as you know, that's my platform of choice.
Yes.
So LinkedIn is a professionals network. These guys don't have a lot of time to go and futz around, if you will, with groups and connecting and all that kind of stuff. They just don't. But if you have a good post and they happen to be on there, they'll like it, they'll comment, they'll share it, and all that kind of stuff, because it's a quick thing. Right. But to be in a community, they rather be face to face. Most of the people, another tip I can give people on LinkedIn is, because you know how on Facebook or any platform, you can send them a link and you can say, hey, book a call with me on this. And that works pretty good. I find that on LinkedIn, you do that, you lose them. But the moment you say, hey, Professor so-and-so, or whoever you are, right? I'm free this date, and this date on these times. Anything like that work for you? That response is a lot easier than if you say, hey, here's a link. Because then they're going to put you as a spammer. They're going to put you as he's just a regular guy. He's lazy. He doesn't want to really know me. So that's a little tip for anyone who's out there doing LinkedIn.
So do you use that a lot, where you message people on LinkedIn? Does that work for you well?
Very effective.
That's wonderful. That's great.
But that's only because I have good posts coming out.
Right. That kind of back up what you're saying and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I have really good posts. Someone I know creates great posts for me. And so they see these posts.
Yes.
And, that's why I'm able to do that.
Okay. That's fantastic. That's good to know. That's cool. Yeah. So those were like kind of the trends that I see coming up for the last half of the year. And then I'm going to work on trying to figure out what's going to be cooking in 2023. Because I always love to see like what's the next new thing that's coming out. And I will tell you, there is this new social media app that I haven't gotten into it, but my daughter, it's just like, she's in her 20s, right? And it's something for this younger set that they love. And it's called Be Real is the name of the app. And it's
real.
Yep. So I think what they're trying to do is make social media more authentic and not so produced, where, a lot of times people will go on Instagram and it's their highlight reel, right? Like you see only the best parts of people's lives on these social media apps, and they're all made up. Their hair is perfect. They're wearing the perfect outfit in the perfect backdrop, whatever. This app called Be Real is a phone app. It's the only way you can use it. And it utilizes your front and back camera. So you'll get a notification on your phone that says time to be real. And so you take a selfie, then you flip the camera around and it takes a picture of the atmosphere of wherever you are. So whenever I'm with my daughter, she's like, "Oh, Mom, it's time to be real." I'm like, "I don't want to be real. I look like hell." But that's like kind of the point, it's like real life. It's the point. It's the point to see you in your everyday environment, your everyday world, and what you're doing. So it's kind of interesting. So
I got to make a note to ask you about that 6 months from now when we do the state of the social media. To see where that is, because that's kind of I'm kind of curious about that.
Yeah, and I think people, because social media is what it is, and I feel I've been watching it for years, and I see a lot of the younger kids using social media and developing issues because of it. Like you'll see people getting eating disorders because of it. You'll see people with depression, anxiety, because they're watching everybody's highlight reel and they're thinking they have such a perfect life and I can't live up to that standard, when they don't realize that's not the standard, And so there's been a lot of social issues with social media in general when you take it outside of a business sense. And I think there's a push for making social media more authentic, which is why this app, Be Real, is out there, trying to dispel that myth of the highlight reel that everybody thinks they're living, but they're really not. But
so, to think about the power of social media, if you think about that, guys, if you're listening to those of you who are listening to us, just think about what she just said. That's how powerful social media is. And a lot of times people, when I speak to them and says, "Well, I don't really want to be on social. I don't think it's worth it." I say, "You're crazy." Listen to what Laura just said of the impact. And that's that is a negative impact, but how do you make that negative impact into a positive impact? And that's what we're talking about here. Really, that's how powerful it is. That's how much you can affect others. But think about how to affect others in a positive way. So
be the positive ripple. And and that's why influencers, social media influencers, is actually a career, because that's their job. They influence through social media. And I don't know. And it's like I said, you just got to find the way to be the positive ripple in the world, right?
Yeah.
It's a ripple effect.
I know it's probably not a trending thing, Laura, but I was before I close, I wanted to ask you this question about reels. I had heard a rumor, I don't know how true it is, that if you're not on a reel, you're not even going to be seen. Is that true?
With the power of short form video and the push on video and the way that TikTok is changing the landscape of how social media is delivered, I believe that to be true. I think this is what I've always learned with social media. The newest feature that a social media platform rolls out is the one you want to pay attention to and give the most attention to, because they're trying to make that popular for a reason. And I think if you ignore the reels, you might be left it's going to be harder for you to be seen organically versus somebody who's utilizing reels.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I would agree with that.
I just wanted to throw that out there because people have told me that, and I'm not sure, and I always forget to ask you, so I figured I'll ask you on the air.
I'm glad you
did. All right, so just to put you on the spot, yes. I am going to surprise you with a few questions. I'm going to take a page out of the great Laura Shipman's book before we close this episode, and I'm going to ask you a few things that are a little off the cuff, off the beaten path. But before I do that, I'm going to make sure that everyone got a lot out of this. And if they want to reach out to Laura, there's all her information is in the show notes. She'll be back again 6 months from now, and we're going to educate you on what else is going on in the world of social media. But here are for those of you who want to stick around to this to get to know Laura Shipman a little bit more, some of these answers, some of these questions I know the answers to already, but Maybe she might surprise me. Anyway, so there's a page out of Laura Shipman's book. She did this to me on her show one time. I said, I am going to get you back, my dear.
It's fun.
All right. PC or Mac?
Oh, Mac for sure. 110%.
I knew that already.
Mac or, Apple, everything for me. Everything connects and syncs. I love that.
Okay. Staycation or vacation?
Ooh, vacation. Vacation on cruises, of course.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Again, there were some of these things I knew already.
Yes.
I probably know the answer to this one as well. Beach or mountains?
Oh, that's hard. Probably beach, but man, I love the mountains, but I usually go to the beach. I like to be around water.
Oh, cool. Last question. Mm-hmm. Virtual or in-person networking?
It's funny. I prefer in person because I feel like it's more, you get more connected. And I think that's a funny answer for me because I am social media and I'm always virtually connected to people. And maybe that's why, because it's a novelty for me to be in person with somebody. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense.
Yeah. So I would say in person.
Thank you for participating, my good friend.
That was fun. I like it. I expect more of those questions next time in 6 months.
Okay, I'm going to come up with some more.
Okay.
And this time I'm not going to look. Well, that one I didn't know the answer to the last one, but the first three I was like,
you got that. Awesome.
But anyway, I am going to bid farewell to this episode, and I will see everyone else next week. We will get together with Laura in 6 months. But until then, take care, folks, and bye for now. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.